Shout out to Cats Pod.
A big defensive play for Montana State.
Touchdown, Tommy Milan is electrifying.
Welcome to the Cats Pod.
What's up, Podcats? What a game. What a game we got to witness yesterday as Montana State took on University of New Mexico. Eric, how did it feel?
Oh man, it was rough there for a bit, but it never felt like we were really truly out of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like being there with those were the passionate fans, man. I'm here to tell you, and nobody ever gave up cheering for them, and the cheerleaders were out there doing their job, and it was hot and miserable, and those boys came through, they literally showed their grit. I mean, that's all you can call it is grit.
Mhm.
They dug deep and pulled out a win against a team that, people can say, oh, they didn't cover the spread. Oh, they were 14-point favorites over New Mexico. And all I have to say is if the people that are saying that now were not at that game, because when you look at the players, there's a difference between FBS and FCS. So it doesn't matter how bad of an FBS team they are. Those guys were
Mhm.
huge. They were
Yeah.
absolutely massive. Like, I mean, they're not they got FBS offers over FCS. They're just bigger. And the Cats
Mhm.
walked out there in that fourth quarter and punched them in the mouth. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, it was absolutely nuts. 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game.
Mhm.
Everybody dug deep. And they were so pumped up, and we were so pumped up. I don't know. My voice is all raspy from hollering as much as I was, but
Yeah.
yeah, that game was up there with the Miracle in Missoula for just how much excitement at the end of that game. I mean,
Mhm.
really, really, really good.
I mean, it was electric just on the broadcast. I had so much fun just watching the broadcast. Shout out to my wife's family for allowing me to just have some time to watch the game yesterday. Like, I think they left me alone for the most part because once it went from like when we were down 0 to 17, they were like, okay, we're just gonna go leave this guy alone real quick. Because I was hurting, and I'm sure you were too in the stands. Like I still like had a lot of faith, but it was like, oh God, what is happening here? I just was not expecting it in any way, shape, or form to start out that way.
Yeah,
Um, and
it
they just
was.
kind of left me alone for a while, and I was like, okay, this is nice. And then it starts to come back. We had those two scores in a row, and I started to even out a little bit, so that was better.
And I made fun of you on your prediction for Ty McCullough. You were like, he's going to have a monstrous season. I was like, well, that's not a bold prediction. You're right,
Hmm.
man. He is going to have a monster season. He looks so good out
Yeah.
there. I mean, at the end of the game on that scoring drive, he had a dude was taking his head off as he caught that pass at the goal line or right just before the goal
Hmm.
line. Literally, you
Yeah.
could see the arm around his neck, and he still caught the
Yeah.
ball, dude. Shout out Ty McCullough. What a dog.
He had a good game just overall too. Like outside of even that last drive,
Yeah.
when you look at the offensive numbers for this game, a lot of players had very good games.
I
Like
want
a lot of players put up a ton of numbers. Ty McCall had 7 receptions for 66 yards, and just he was there whenever we needed to make a play. That was the biggest thing.
so
The trust between him and Tommy seemed like it was they had the best chemistry out of all the wide receivers, like right now. Yeah.
100%. What I like is that all of a sudden we are a more balanced team. I mean, we'll always be
Hmm.
heavy rushing, which 362 rushing yards is more than New Mexico's entire offense did. So there's
Hmm.
that. But we also had 205 passing yards. And when was the last time you saw that from a Bobcat game?
It's been a long time. And those 32 passing attempts was a ton because they were saying on the broadcast we averaged 20 pass attempts last year per game. And he had 20 pass attempts in like the second quarter, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, he threw the ball a lot more. But the thing I liked about Tommy's passes is that none of them felt like they were going to get picked off. Tommy was,
Yeah.
I mean, we are so lucky to be fans of this team while Tommy Mellott is a quarterback because
Mhm.
he took a busted play. I mean, I don't know if it was busted, but it kind of when just watching it kind of seemed like it was busted, but took it for a touchdown.
Oh, that was a broken play, and that was an incredible play made by Tommy. Like I thought that was going to be horrible, and then all of a sudden he's in for a touchdown. That
Yeah,
was something you see out of like Kyler Murray or like one of those quarterbacks, and he just found a way to get in the end zone. It was crazy.
yeah. I mean, this kid, he's so special, man. I just feel lucky that we have him and he's not somewhere else. Like
Hmm.
I'm just so happy
Yeah.
about that. It would kill me if he was a Grizzly, but
I don't know how much you got to be online during the game, but I got to be very online during the game, and that was kind of what was adding to the anxiety for me. Got
uh,
to stay off social media
I'm currently
always.
in. I'm currently in about 3 Facebook fights on FCS Fans Nation right now. I'm just
I'm
troll. I'm
glad
just
you are.
troll.
I was staying out of it yesterday. I was like, I'm not going to give them any of my energy. I'm not going to let them get to my head. They don't belong here. They don't have rent inside this head. I'm not even going to talk to them.
I was just being a troll by the end of it.
Yeah,
It's salty Grizz fans calling it a not good win, and it's like
yeah,
all I started responding to everything was someone's jealous,
yeah.
and it was making
Well, this
those
is the first time we. It, you go ahead. My bad.
it was making those guys so mad, and all I
Hmm.
was saying is someone's jealous of our win, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, the online was maybe not a good place to spend a whole lot of time.
No, it was terrible. I mean, I don't know. It's the first time since 2006. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. That's why the 13.5 point line had me pretty scared, honestly, because it's like, even like you were saying, the size factor of just having FBS level athletes in recruiting, which was pretty obvious when they moved into that tight formation. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
They
when they stacked everybody inside, they had a bunch of size, and it took 4 or 5 plays for the Cats to get it figured out. Eventually they did, but when they got hit with that and they had all that size up there, they got pushed through a few times, and it was successful for them. You know?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, so you want to do, should we just start now kind of walking through the game as it went?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
So at the beginning, and I'm sure everybody that was watching noticed, but our
Mhm.
offensive line was just all, they moved to different positions. We're missing JT Reed and Justice Perkins, and it showed at the beginning.
Hmm.
They didn't click immediately. There was some rust there. Cole Sane had a bit of an adjustment with the moving to center.
Hmm.
But boy, they got once it went through, it seemed to get a lot better as the game went on. But do you
Yeah.
really think we're going to see 2 fumbles from Tommy Mellott in the future? Because I sure don't.
No, and I was honestly just proud of the way Tommy bounced back after that.
Yeah,
Because
he
you
has
could
a
see that get into a lot of dudes' heads, but it really showed his maturity when he like comes through, makes a couple mistakes, and even after that first mistake, he goes out and leads 2 drives where he scored 2 touchdowns.
yeah.
You know?
That's a great word for it is maturity. The
Yeah.
ability to let go. That's why he's a team captain. I mean, kudos to him
Hmm.
for moving on, especially that second one. Which, I mean, I came home and watched the game on TV because in person and on that scoreboard, it looked like he threw it, and I get that it was possibly moving, and they couldn't confirm the call, but they did uphold the call.
Hmm.
But we spotted these guys 14 points.
Yeah.
And then still beat them by 4. We gave them
Hmm.
14 points. They didn't have to work for that.
No, just handed it to him.
Yeah. And kudos to the line for getting their adjustments made at halftime because they went into
Hmm.
halftime and even before that, that we had 2 scoring drives there or
Yeah.
in the second quarter that they looked really good on and they got their adjustments made and
Hmm.
that's a credit to the coaching staff. Like well done to them.
Yeah. As far as the offensive line went, I felt like the run blocking looked really good the entire game.
Yes, yes, the run
Like the run
blocking.
blocking, it always seemed like we had the huge gaps that we're used to seeing. It seemed like our running backs could really shine and they could really do whatever they wanted to when they hit those gaps. It was just a little bit of the pass blocking. They got back there quick a few times.
Yeah, and I really like this offense that Coach Walker is putting together. As far as
Hmm.
play calling and everything, I like the read option. You know for a fact that's going to get better as the season goes on, and they get more of that game time practice essentially under their belt
Hmm.
over the next 6 weeks. That read option is going to be deadly, and all that does
Hmm.
is open up our Ty McCullough, Laniana Alexander, Hunter Province, Rohan Jones, Ryan King, or I already said Ty McCullough, but I'm the same again.
You might as well be worth two,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So our running backs are going to crank off 100 yards a game, and then it's just going to open up the passing game for Tommy to he can just be easier on himself. I love it. I love the plan.
Hmm. Yeah, it seemed like it definitely seemed like a week zero game. It was
Yes,
rusty.
yes,
It was dirty. It
yes.
was nasty.
Yep.
There was a lot of stuff to fix in it, but when you still pull off a win and you know exactly what you can fix and what you have to work on for the next week and the rest of the season, that honestly makes it even sweeter.
Especially when you have to pull out a win like they did. I mean,
Hmm.
they scored so fast. I mean,
Yeah.
it felt like everything was in slow motion, but they rallied off those points, came back from a major deficit. And I mean, the only thing I can compare this to for games that I've been to in person is the Miracle in Missoula. Because, I mean, there was a time in that game too where it felt like all hope was, starting to go away. And they
Hmm.
dug deep, and that's what this team did. Just dig deep.
Yeah.
They have
How'd
that.
you how'd you feel about Devin Dampier, the quarterback for New Mexico?
He was way better than I gave him credit for. I talked a lot of trash about
Yeah.
New Mexico, and they definitely, I don't know, maybe they listen to our podcast, man. Maybe.
I think they
Because
definitely did.
the all the
Yeah, we've
play
made it all the way down to Albuquerque.
all the players that you talked about on that preview episode were pretty good, honestly.
Oh yeah.
The tight end was good. That Luke Weissong wide receiver was extremely good, and the quarterback, he is he's pretty good. I mean, he's fast. He made pretty good decisions. Uh,
Hmm.
I probably should have given him a little more credit because he's not a scrub. That is absolutely for sure.
Yeah. I feel like this is a tough team for anyone to face, let alone an FCS team, just because there's no game film to watch. All of the guys that we've been talking about were not really on the field last year.
No, exact, and they're almost most of these guys are transfers, and
Hmm.
and you have to give credit where credit is due. Bronco Mendenhall is a very, very good coach. He's incredibly
Yeah.
creative, and he understands how to move a football.
Hmm. He
That's
did a lot of different things with lineups and formations that I don't think we'll see that the rest of the season.
well,
Like that much variety.
that trick play that scored the touchdown at the end of the half.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that had me fooled watching it. I didn't,
Hmm.
and I didn't drink very much, so we can't even blame that.
Yeah.
It was just a good play.
Yeah.
Got to call a
Devin
spade a spade.
Dampier pretty much just got to walk in, you
Yep.
know.
And then as far as the rest of the New Mexico team, that Noah Avenger was everything that was. I mean, that dude is legit.
Hmm.
He's very,
He
very
seemed
good.
like the only major piece for New Mexico, though. Like that defense may struggle just because it was kind of a one-person show for the most part, it felt like.
Yeah, yeah, he was kind of all over the place. I mean, it seemed like he was
Hmm.
on every tackle. He was
Hmm.
so yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't. I was just overall pretty darn impressed with how they came back. The
Hmm.
defense, I thought the defense was good all game. I mean,
Yeah.
they got fooled on that
Mm-hmm.
that one trick play, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, they really killed it all game long. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you take away the 14 points that came off of one bogus fumble and one that was legit fumble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of what we all expected the score to be. You know, that's 21 points. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we expected out of them.
All of a sudden we're ahead of the spread and everything like that if you don't have those 14 points.
Yeah, I lied to you.
Yeah.
Sorry. They had 17 points. So that's kind of exactly what
Yeah.
we expected.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like the
And
defense
then,
did well.
yeah. The only thing to slightly nitpick on the defense was just the penalty problem.
The
Seemed
penalties,
like we had a lot of penalties on the defense, a lot in the secondary that just let them move down the field and put them in better positions. Shout out to their kicker for missing those 2 field goals. That really helped us out a lot. But when we got in bad situations, they still made us stop and they still forced it to be a field goal. And those were tough field goals, I'm guessing, because of that wind.
I don't know how he missed that first one. I love that he did.
Yeah.
I don't know how he missed it,
Yeah.
but that second one, dude, I'm not kidding you. I used to live in Valier too. The wind here is wicked,
Hmm.
and that wind was every bit as crazy as what Valier gets. I mean, it was absolutely smoking. These gusts, 60, I don't know, it probably weren't 60, but 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts just raced through the stadium, blowing trash all over it. At one point,
Yeah.
probably 15 of us Bobcat fans lost our hat at the same time, including myself. I mean, it blew an entire section over.
Yeah.
And they decided to kick in that. I mean, those goalposts, I don't know if you could tell, they were moving so far. And
Yeah.
those 3 points still only made it a 2-score game.
Hmm.
It's not like those 3 points buried us.
Yeah.
And they chose to do that. That is a bad that was a bad call to try and kick that field goal in that spot.
Yeah.
It was never going to go in. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know if they just really trust their kicker or what the situation was, but it seemed like the environment was not anywhere near place kicking.
yeah, yeah. It I still don't know why they tried to do that. I mean, you could barely throw the ball in that wind. It was going so bad. And the craziest thing about the wind, it every 10 minutes it would switch direction. Out of all
Yeah.
northeast, southwest, I mean, it just constantly changing direction. So you couldn't
Hmm.
even when the quarter switched, the wind switched with it. So they were I mean, at that point it was a straight crosswind across the field. But it
Yeah.
had no chance of going in at any point.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, as far as the rest of the guys on defense, McCade O'Reilly, Danny Yu, Rylan Ort they're them.
Hmm.
Like those guys were everywhere all the time,
Yeah.
especially at the end of the game. Danny Yu had some massive plays. McCade O'Reilly was extremely good all game, but at the end of the game, Danny Yu and Rylan Ort just
Hmm.
our captains just take over.
Yeah. It definitely seemed like they had control of the game the entire time. They never got shook by any situation. Like I said, even when the defense did get put in a bad spot by some penalties, where they were in like scoring distance. I think honestly, most about like that second drive of the game, I think New Mexico had, where we had the first pass interference, and then all of a sudden they were down at like the 30-yard line.
Yeah,
And that could very easily have turned into points. And they stuffed them and forced them to punt in a really bad spot.
yeah. Yeah, and speaking of punting, Brendan Hall's going to play on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine catching one of his kicks? They go over the top of the stadium before they come down to you. It's
Hmm.
unbelievable, and he pins them inside the 10 every time.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single time that we didn't have somebody pinned inside the 10-yard line.
He kicks out the back of the end zone every time. Don't ever have to worry about run backs. He's
Hmm.
amazing at punting. Like this dude is going to the NFL. I am
Yeah.
absolutely convinced of it, and me and you would be the first ones to buy a Brendan Hall jersey. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. And we
Yeah.
could just let everybody know that he's 6'9" in the NFL. We have a
Yes.
whole new audience that needs to learn that he's 6'9".
Yeah. And all jokes aside, I love watching him punt because I can't imagine trying to catch that. It goes so far in the air, it has to hurt when it
Yeah,
hits
I
your
bet.
arms. Yeah.
He is a very impressive punter. Like it is every single time. It's reliable. It's always in the right spot. Always burying them deep in their own zone. Like teams against us are never going to have good field position to start off with.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Could you hear the Cat fans on the broadcast? I felt like we were loud.
Oh, easily, easily. I was going to ask you what you think the percentage was because that stadium was so empty. There was
Yeah.
nobody there, it seemed like, and then you would look at the one sideline where all the Cat fans were, and all you would see is gold and blue all over that side. It
So
seemed like there was many more Cat fans on that side, and there wasn't many fans for New Mexico in the entire stadium.
so they said there was 17,300 at the stadium.
Hmm.
And on our side, it was almost entirely Cat fans. There was a few Lobo fans sprinkled in, and they were unpleasant people, to say the least.
Not like the North Dakota State fans where you want to like them even though they're North Dakota State fans.
I will never like anything about North Dakota State. I, in fact,
All right, sorry. My bad.
my I put some Snapchat stories up, and a couple of people in North Dakota messaged me saying, "Go NDSU." That's how terrible North Dakota State fans are. They couldn't even be happy
They
for
had
us
to
for
get
one
after you.
second. Yeah, couldn't even be happy us
No.
for 1 second. But as far as like
Mm-mm.
the percentages in the stadium, there were a lot of Lobo fans, but the Cat fans really showed out. They traveled well, but more specifically,
Mm-hmm.
Albuquerque has a lot of Bobcat fans in general. Shout out to
Yeah.
my two buddies, Casey Spawn and Aaron Carpenter. They both lived in Bozeman and went to graduated from MSU from Montana. They live in Santa Fe, I think now, and they made the
Mm-hmm.
trip down. And there was a group of people that they work with down there that are all from Bozeman, and
Nice.
they all came too. You know, they probably just between their one company that they work for, there was probably 15 Cat fans that showed up to the game for that, and they were they were having a good time. And a funny story, the ran into Clint Christian's uncle, who's a Cat fan.
Yeah.
Ran their whole family was at the game, bunch of Cat fans. So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
I there was a lot of Cat fans, and it felt like we were loud. But
It
you never
definitely
know.
sounded like it. You could hear it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we tried
And
to.
fan wise, I got a big surprise. I got a photo texted to me by my aunt because my aunt and uncle from Billings were actually in the stands. She is normally a Grizz fan. Like they're a divided household. My uncle's a Bobcat, she's a Grizz, and she said, "Today in Albuquerque for you, Ben, I'm gonna wear the blue and gold." And I said, "I thank you so much, Aunt Trish. You're gonna set it aside. You're gonna go cheer for us against those Lobos." And it was the sweetest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was just surprised because I had no idea they were in Arizona. They do not live there.
Yeah, so I I was pretty impressed with the showing and the turnout for the Cat fans. It was
Mhm.
it was pretty fun, and the Cat fans definitely know how to have more fun than the Lobo fans.
Oh, I'm sure they do. You
That,
know, all those snowbirds down there, they don't know how to have a good time.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the average age of the crowd was? Was there a lot of college kids there from New Mexico?
You know, I didn't make it through the crowd a ton. Yeah, it was kind of hit concessions, hit the chair, and that was about it. But the Cat
Hmm.
fans did a number on the beer gardens, though. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah. They didn't run out like at the national championship, right?
No, they did not run out. They did not run out. But no,
Yeah.
it was pretty fun every time. I didn't make it to the concession stands too much, but every time I was there, it was just a line of Cat fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was just it was. basically what I witnessed was
Mm-hmm.
this was a rusty team that is a little beat up already, that came in, battled adversity, made the correct adjustments, and beat an FBS team, which is no matter
Mm-hmm.
what a hard task. And it takes a good team to pull something like that off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it starts with your coaching. If you don't have good coaching, this isn't even possible. And then you have to give it to every single one of those players on the field that was able to dig deep and believe, have
Mm-hmm.
the true mettle to, not lose hope and just keep on battling.
Yeah. It was like you said right at the beginning, it was a very gritty performance. It was one of those things where a lot of teams that were less mature or had less of what we talk about the cat culture all the time and everything like that. If that stuff is not in place, your team folds under that kind of pressure.
Yeah,
Your team
exactly.
does not come back and score 21 unanswered to win the game. That just doesn't happen.
The best thing for this team was this game, because now
Hmm.
they know exactly what adjustments they and what they need to work on. I mean, by the end
Hmm.
of that game, they were firing on all cylinders, but they have an avenue to even more improvement now, which is just hard to believe. But I mean, they're going to be able to
Hmm.
improve and work on things and
Yeah.
get better, especially when you look at our schedule. We talked about it on the preview episode. They get to go on a fairly easy run here. I mean, you have Utah Tech, which is Utah Tech, but then Maine, which I guess we don't know too much about Maine. I don't think they'll be very good. Nobody seems to think they'll be very good. Then a
Yeah.
bye week, and then Mercyhurst, and then Northern Colorado after that. So
Hmm.
you have legitimately 5 straight weeks of tweaks. Go
Yeah.
play,
Fine tuning.
yeah, go play a game, fix anything that needs to be done, get guys healthy, the whole nine. As far as injuries go, Elijah Elliott looked like he's really hurt.
Yeah.
He was. We stopped and saw the players after the game, and he was on crutches, not able to put any weight on his leg. It didn't look like.
Yeah, that's tough for him for sure. He's been through a lot already, and then just wanting to be out on the field, wanting to join that room, that running back room that's already so stacked, and help him out, and probably just not being able to. That's the worst.
Yeah, yeah, and then it was. It looked to be just cramping for Scottre.
That's good.
Yeah, and obviously we haven't even talked about Adam Jones and his breakout game.
Hmm. I feel like we should just go through the last touchdown drive, if not the last two.
Yeah, it was.
You want to hit the play-by-play on that?
Yeah, I mean, we probably should touch on that for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but none of this happens without without Adam Jones's touchdown run. That 93
No,
yarder.
none of it.
That
Yeah.
is that is what made this happen.
Hmm.
And that was, of course, the only play on that second to last touchdown.
Exactly. That's the play-by-play for that entire drive right there.
And
He
I
busts
guess
up that sideline with that 23 on his back. He looked like another guy that wears 23. Not quite as big as him, but he looked like another guy, plays in San Francisco, wears 23 on his back. He looked very much like that kind of guy
I couldn't
as he was
agree
streaking
more.
down the sideline. In my mind, that's what he looked like.
Okay, before we gush over Adam Jones, because we need to give him a couple minutes for sure,
Okay.
we got to talk about that fourth down turnover we had.
Yeah.
That was the worst call I have ever seen on a football field. The refs
Yeah.
botched it. And if you look, when they went to spot that fourth down run, they were on two different sides. They were a full yard. The refs were apart from each other.
Yeah.
And and then I rewatched the game today, and even they said that was a terrible spot in the crowd.
Yeah.
This happened right in front of where I was sitting. You could
Yeah.
clearly see the second effort. That offensive lineman grabs him and just goes. He takes him forward, and
Hmm.
they claimed they blew the whistle. I was there. I didn't hear a whistle and never heard a whistle, and none of the players did either because not even the defense stopped.
Yeah.
They
It was
spotted
an
that.
obvious first down. It was an obvious first down.
Yeah. And so once again, this is a credit to that team by not getting down and out because
Hmm.
that one sucked. It really did. And with the amount of time that was left there, it did not feel good. I mean,
No, that felt like a moment where if you don't have a monster play like that Adam Jones 93-yard touchdown, it felt like that was what was going to be needed for us to get back into it. And those plays are hard to come by. You don't like expect that to happen.
yeah. Yeah. I I just really I really can't believe that that happened. And then the crazy thing is the defense comes out, shuts them down. Really, really fast possession. It was only like a minute
Hmm.
of time that goes by.
Hmm.
And then Adam Jones, I believe there was offsetting penalties the first play of
Yeah.
that drive. And then Adam
Hmm.
Jones takes it all the way to the house. And
Yeah.
nobody was touching him. I mean, when that kid is so fast, it was not even a question. When he got to the outside, that defensive back was just on his heels. There was no way he was
Yeah.
catching him. No way.
I would like to give a major thank you to the city of Missoula for messing up so badly that we got Adam Jones.
Yeah. We got, I mean, we have Rylan Ort too. He's from
Hmm.
Missoula, absolute stud.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was that play set everything up, and you saw it change in that stadium. Those
Hmm.
New Mexico fans, they were never very loud, but they were really quiet. The Cat fans were going absolutely ballistic. The cheerleaders were going ballistic. They were making like this cool triangle tower thing with all of them, and
Hmm.
then the defense comes back out, and I will say, we got lucky on that last play of New Mexico's drive. That number 12 flat out dropped
Yeah.
that ball for the first down, and that could have made it pretty tight if he would have got that
That
first
was
down.
two drives in a row. Two drives in a row. New Mexico had opportunities to almost shut the door, almost make it so there wasn't enough time to win the game. And Luke Wysong dropped the first one, number 15, and then it was Caleb Medford on the second drive. And they
Yeah,
were both third down passes, both very catchable balls, and they went straight through the hands of Wysong the first time, and then right off the body of Caleb Medford.
yeah, and he dropped that ball, and the whole Cat section just sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Taco got, I think it was, I can't remember. He had a pretty nice return on the punt, if I remember right. And then
Yep.
there was a holding, I believe, that
I think so. Yeah.
sent them back to the 11-yard line.
Hmm.
And then the electric touchdown, Tommy Malott just
Hmm.
takes over and
Yep.
melts that clock down to nothing. And I mean, Ty McCullough, the touchdown Tommy and Ty McCullough are a duo that is going to be extremely fun to watch. I mean, Ty
Hmm.
McCullough's on a mission. There was nothing
Yeah.
standing in that dude's way from, he said it before the game. He's never lost in New Mexico and doesn't ever plan to, and that was his mission for the day.
Hmm.
It wasn't going to happen.
Also, looking at the breakdown of that last drive, gotta give some props to Lanyata Alexander.
Yes, yes,
Lanyata, he got 3 catches during that drive, and him and Tommy are roommates, if I'm not incorrect. I believe they said that during the broadcast. And it showed because they haven't been playing together for a super long time, but they had some pretty good chemistry as well. Not
yeah,
quite him and Ty, but very, very good. And I mean, Lanyata had that 37-yard grab that put him down into scoring distance. Had 2 5-yard grabs during that run, and then also 16 yards for Rohan Jones. Rohan Jones came in there, got limited playing time, limited snaps, but every time he was out there, it seemed like the ball was going to him, and he caught it and made the right play.
yeah. And while we're at it, Rohan Jones, same thing as Lanyata Alexander, hasn't played with Tommy much. And there was
Mm-hmm.
a few miscues during the game, but when it mattered the most, he catches a 16-yard pass from Tommy for a first down, gets us,
Mm-hmm.
getting closer to midfield, gets us up to the 32-yard line. And when that dude catches the ball, yards after the catch are going to happen.
Oh yeah.
He's a bowling ball going down there. He's a stud. He's going to be a huge part of this offense going forward. All three of those guys were just, I mean, you just can't do it without him.
When he caught that pass on that final drive, I literally stood up and said, "This is my favorite Canadian. This is my favorite Canadian in the world."
Yeah, yeah. I am very excited to watch him play, and we will be at Gold Rush to see him play his former team. And if he doesn't have a
Yeah.
touchdown, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a part of the game plan is him getting a touchdown there for sure.
Yeah. And so that, then Laniata, and then Adam Jones. And
Mm-hmm.
all Adam Jones does is come through in big spots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gets a first down on the game-winning drive, 93-yard touchdown. He falls forward
Mm-hmm.
after contact. He's faster than everybody else on the football field, other than maybe Tommy Malott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then the thing, you have Julius and Scott Trade, but in front of him, he's a third string guy playing exactly as good as the first string guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He also caught a very nice pass along the sideline
yes,
where he had to tiptoe it a little bit, and
yes,
that is not a normal running back catch.
no,
It was only for 6 yards, but still, it was an impressive grab.
yeah, he was. I mean, all game long, and he, Humphrey was having. It looked like cramping, so Adam Jones comes in and just says, "No problem, coach. Put me in. I'll take care of it." And he comes out
Mm-hmm.
and stakes his claim. This dude is
Yeah.
going to. It has to make you feel good about the future of the running back position, even after Julius Davis is graduated. I mean, we are going to be loaded at running back forever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. I mean, Adam Jones deserves a lot of credit for this game. A lot.
Mm-hmm. After they got towards field goal range, my brother-in-law was like, "I think I would just run it from here, get that field goal to get the tie." And I said, "There is no way. We got way too much time on the clock. We are going for a touchdown right now. I guarantee it." Right after that,
Yeah.
Tommy Malott to Ty McCullough got us down near the goal line, and Scott Trey takes it in.
And credit to Ty McCullough for making that catch right before the goal line there, because
Mm-hmm.
that dude for New Mexico had his arm around his neck before the ball even got to him. He was being interfered with so hard, uncalled, which is fine. Didn't change anything. But Ty McCullough completes that catch with the guy's arm around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
That's what winners do. That's what
Yeah.
studs do.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Scott Trey runs it in for a 4-yard touchdown. And you know who finishes it off is the unsung hero of this game. Miles Sandstead.
Connor Weir. Oh.
The kicker.
Okay.
Miles
Yep.
Sandstead. I'm not sure how much time he had to prepare to be the starting kicker for us because Casey Kautzman's hurt. It got hurt in practice.
Yeah.
Miles Sandstead didn't miss a kick in that game. In terrible wind. It's 96 degrees. That dude deserves a lot of credit for coming in on short notice and doing his job. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Miles Sandstead is Brett Vegan's nephew.
Might be. I have no idea.
That was what I was told by another fan at the game. Is that that's Brett Vegan's nephew. And you have to give him a ton of credit for what he was able to do. And just by simply making I say simply, but making the extra points, that's good fundamental football right there.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the small things right.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I was going to say unsung hero for this game was Connor Weir.
Marcus Weir.
Marcus Weir. Sorry.
Yeah.
God, why do I always do that? Marcus Weir, just because of the way he was opening up those holes and getting people into the end zone and getting people open along the sideline.
Marcus Weir and Connor Moore are
Connor Moore. Yeah.
absolute studs.
Yeah.
Those two are going to anchor this line while there's injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're giving love to the linemen, we have to give some props to Cole Sane for playing center. And, there was a few high snaps. One of them turned into a Tommy Mellott scramble touchdown.
Yeah.
But that dude went in, did what he needed to do, and made the correct adjustments and was seamless in the second half of that
Yep.
football game. I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. I don't even know what this line is going to look like when everybody's healthy. Sorry to opposing defenses, but you're going to get pancaked a lot. That's just a fact.
Yeah. You're going to spend a lot of the game on your back.
Marcus Weir is just going to be carrying dudes all over the field.
Yeah.
Marcus Weir, after watching that game, it shouldn't be a Senior Bowl watch list. He should be at the Senior Bowl already.
One game in. Just give him the early one. Give him the early intro.
There's pictures of him picking a guy up already, pancaking him.
Yeah.
Right on the field. Shoveling dudes.
Yeah.
This is just
He's a monster. If I could just learn his name, then it'd be great.
And now I have to tell you about the saddest part of this game.
All right.
The video of their locker room party, and they're singing the fight song, and Waded Cruzado is right in the middle of it, and they start chanting speech, and she gives one of the most heartwarming speeches out, crediting those guys with all their hard work, and it just losing her it's not gonna be fun. She has been such a good piece to all the success that we've had at football, that it's gonna suck to lose her, and replacing her is gonna be really difficult. Really disappointed to see her go, but it's a well-deserved retirement. Well deserved.
Yeah, for sure. Always been great.
Yeah.
In like every aspect.
Yeah, and now we have something big to look forward to on Thursday.
Oh, we do. I'm looking forward to this game so much.
There's actually two. There's North Dakota State and Sac State. Now, the one I'm more interested in now is the Sac State game, because San Jose State is in the same conference as New Mexico, and if San Jose State waxes Sac State, that makes this win look pretty darn good.
Yeah, it makes it look even better.
Yeah, it's a great win, but if San Jose waxes them, it does so much more for it.
Yeah.
So really crossing my fingers on that one, and I can't wait to watch NDSU. That's going to be a fun game. All the way around.
I love watching any game that Coach Prime is coaching.
Yeah.
So it just adds a little more spice to it that it happens to be the Bison on the other side of it.
Yeah. I mean, if they had a 40-point win, I wouldn't shed a tear.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad. But it would also be awesome for the FCS if North Dakota State plays it close. It'd be awesome for the credibility of the FCS. Showing that there are some great teams and some great talent out there if they do play it somewhat close.
I might not talk to you for a week for giving North Dakota State any credit, but
it's a good thing you won't see me for another week, Hopefully you can get over it soon.
But yeah, man, that was quite the trip. Had a ton of fun down there. New Mexico's stadium's pretty darn cool. I mean, I'm not sure why they need 30-some thousand seats in it, because pretty sure it's going to be a while before they fill that stadium. But I mean, they're with Bronco Mendenhall as a coach, New Mexico is going to come around pretty quick, I think. And this was one of the best wins I've ever been a part of. So I'm pretty darn tickled to come away with the dub on this one.
I would be very happy if New Mexico goes on to have to outperform what's expected of them, because that's just going to make the Cats look better and better each week if they start rising up that Mountain West. Which, I mean, they look like a super well put together team, so it could very well happen.
I mean, if we're being totally honest here, there are multiple winnable games. I mean, I don't know what their schedule is, of course, but
Mhm.
Nevada is probably a winnable game. Sorry, Jeff Choate. I hate to do that to you. Well, here's the schedule right in front of me. Oh gosh.
They have a tough
Oh,
schedule.
oh yeah. This is
They have a
number
very tough schedule.
number 21 Arizona next week.
Yeah.
Auburn the following week. Oh gosh. But
I don't know who their athletic director is or whoever decides the schedule, but they did not do Bronco any favors.
no. On this Arizona game, it says so it's at Arizona. Tickets as
Yeah.
low as $5.
Oh no.
So Arizona must not be a very well attended. But even then, I mean, there's a lot of schools on this schedule that are, I mean, Fresno State is okay. New Mexico State, eh. Air Force pretty good last year, I'm pretty sure. Utah State,
Hmm.
yeah. Colorado State, they're all right. Wyoming's probably pretty winnable. San Diego State might be winnable, and Hawaii's always winnable. So
Yeah.
they have to go to Hawaii. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a
It's a nice vacation.
little consolation prize.
Oh yeah.
So this is an extremely quality win, and
Hmm.
I cannot wait. I'm not going to go to Utah Tech, but I cannot wait to watch it.
Hmm. It's definitely going to be a fun one. Glad I'll be at home and be able to catch it in my normal environment.
Do
Won't
you,
be down in Florida for that one.
real quick, I want to look up the time of the NDSU game real quick
Okay.
to see if try to figure out when we're going to record next. Because I'd like to record
Yep.
after this. No, we can't record after the Sac State game, but it's at 6
Yeah.
p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah.
So we could probably do an episode after that game, or toward the end of that game and the beginning of the Sac State game, or something like that.
Yeah, that would work.
Get some picks in for the next weekend.
Oh yeah. Get you guys a pick'em podcast.
A little preview
Let everybody know what we
episode.
think. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have to do much preview for Utah Tech. I don't think I'll be watching their media day and giving a breakdown on any of their players.
Oh, come on.
But we'll see. Who knows? I might be very bored next week.
Well, I can already give a little bit of a breakdown on their players because I'm pretty sure their quarterback used to play for Idaho or Iowa, University of Iowa.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that for sure, but that's what one of
That's what the Thursday episode's for.
yeah,
You know?
I'll be able to look it up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Anything else you want to hit on before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I'm recovering from a crazy weekend, and thank goodness I have a cat win to rest everything on. So
No, it just made everything so much better this weekend.
yes,
I'm
it
already
did.
in a beautiful place with some
Yep.
great people,
Yep.
and it just made it so much better to get
Exactly.
that win.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
So, all right. Well, I guess that's it for me.
all right, make sure that you guys rate this podcast 5 stars wherever you are listening to it at. Go ahead and follow us on X and Instagram at CatsPod. Thank everybody. Thanks to everybody. There's been a lot of people reaching out recently, right, Eric?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of love for the podcast. A lot of new listeners, I think, are coming in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for choosing to listen to us ramble on about our favorite team in the entire world. And we are glad that people enjoy listening to us talk about the Bobcats.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
All
yeah.
right. Have a great week. We'll see you guys on Thursday night.
Adios.